Nuts, your sexual organs don't define your connections. Welcome to Soft Girl Era, the sacred space where strong Black women in unlearned survival rediscover softness and reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom they deserve without guilt, without apology, and without explanation. I'm your host, LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French. And I'm your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft, and loving every second of it. Today, I want to share insights from an extraordinary conversation I had with CherRenae Blakes, a woman who's been shattering stereotypes and rewriting the rules on connection, loyalty, and what it means to build authentic relationships that transcend gender. CherRenae is making the world a better place by refusing to let society's narrow definitions dictate who gets to stand in her corner. And her story is a masterclass in boundary setting, resilience, and the radical act of choosing your tribe based on character, not chromosomes. She's challenging every assumption we've been fed about who deserves our loyalty, who earns our trust, and why the world keeps trying to reduce our deepest connections to romance when sometimes the most powerful bonds have absolutely nothing to do with it. Let me start with something CherRenae said that stopped me cold. Your sexual organs don't define your connections. Read that again. Your sexual organs don't define your connections. In a world obsessed with romance narratives, with reducing every cross gender friendship to some inevitable love story, CherRenae stands diehard on this truth. Loyalty, shared history, and standing firm against doubters. That's what defines real connection. Here's what we've been sold. Hollywood, social media, even our own families have fed us this lie that men and women can't just be friends, that somewhere, somehow, romance is lurking. That if you're close to someone of the opposite sex, there must be something more going on. It's exhausting, it's limiting. And for Black women especially, it's another layer of judgment we don't need, another box we're supposed to fit into, another script we're supposed to follow without question. But what if we burn that script? CherRenae grew up a tomboy in diverse San Jose, California. She wasn't the girl playing with dolls or hosting tea parties. She was out there playing touch football, wrestling, lifting weights, chopping throats, her words, not mine, at anyone who dared call her soft. She bonded with her brothers, her cousins, her male friends over physical challenges, over raw competition, over authenticity that didn't require her to perform femininity to earn respect. And those bonds, they've lasted over 20 years through PTSD, through losses, through separations that stretched across states and time zones. Cherini calls her male best friend my orange, a bond so rare and so pure that even years apart can't touch it. They reunite seamlessly, like warriors who never stopped fighting side by side. No romance, no hidden agenda, just unwavering support grounded in boundaries that were set early and defended fiercely. Think about that for a moment. 20 years of friendship, 20 years of showing up, 20 years of defying every single person who said it couldn't be done, who whispered behind their backs, who questioned their motives, and they're still standing, still connected, still proof that what we've been told is a lie. This is what we need to talk about because the research backs this up. Platonic relationships, defined as deep emotional bonds without sexual or romantic desire, build on five types of intimacy: emotional, physical, intellectual, spiritual, and experiential. And they don't just feel good, they lower stress, boost resilience, and provide perspectives that homogenous friend groups simply can't offer. Cross gender friendships challenge stereotypes, reduce gendered biases, and foster emotional growth that makes us better leaders, better partners, better humans. But they're rare. Why? Because we've been conditioned to see them as impossible. We've been fed the when Harry met Sally narrative so many times that we've internalized it as truth. We've let cultural scripts override our lived experiences. And for Black women, this hits differently. We're already navigating stereotypes about our strength, our femininity, our worthiness of soft treatment. Add in a close male friend, and suddenly we're defending our character, our intentions, our entire existence. CherRenae faced this head on. Society dismissed her guy friendships as impossible without romance. She faced judgment for not fitting feminine norms, for not having a circle of soft girlfriends who giggled over brunch. But she stood firm. She prioritized loyalty over outsiders' opinions. She disclosed her platonic boundaries upfront to potential partners, not as an apology, but as a declaration. These are my people, and they're not going anywhere. And here's the kicker: her romantic partners, the ones worth keeping, they got it. They befriended her male friends. They saw the purity of those bonds and didn't feel threatened because there was nothing to threaten. True platonic friendships, the kind grounded in spiritual love and mutual purpose, don't compete with romance. They complement it. They provide a richness, a diversity of support that makes you stronger in every area of life. Let me tell you about someone else who understood this deeply. There's a story about a young man halfway across the world in Singapore, raised in a culture where gender segregation was the norm, who built close platonic friendships with women in his professional circles. He grew up in all boys schools where women were viewed as off limits, as objects, not peers. The culture around him screamed that men and women occupied separate spheres. Social religious norms kept women secluded. Media tropes pushed romance as the only possible outcome when a man and woman got close. Every time he had a female friend, people teased, "Is she your boyfriend?" But he chose differently. He prioritized emotional openness, clarity about availability, and genuine human connection over gendered bubbles. He refused to let the world's narrow imagination define his relationships. And you know what happened? Women called him their only close male friend. He gained diverse insights that transformed how he saw the world. He broke personal biases he didn't even know he carried, and he normalized platonic depth in a society that desperately needed it. His friendships became a quiet revolution. They proved that when you reject the default script, when you choose authenticity over assumption, you create space for connections that elevate everyone involved. His female friends weren't distractions or temptations or inevitable romantic interests. They were humans, peers, allies. And that shift in perspective, that refusal to reduce people to their gender, changed everything. Now, let me share something even more powerful. There's a Black woman who writes about her strictly platonic male friendships with a clarity that cuts through all the noise. She describes these bonds as spiritual love based on purpose and mutual best interest. Zero sensual tension, only hugs and shared purpose. These friendships are familial, fiercely protected, and they provide perspectives without rivalry. She calls these bonds rare, like red diamonds. And she's right. True platonic friendships are uncommon because most people never get past the cultural conditioning. Most people hear close friend of the opposite sex and immediately assume romance is hiding somewhere. But she's built something different. She's cultivated what she calls bomb dynamics, where her male friends exchange views freely, where curiosity about romance is never explored because it doesn't exist, where the treasure of the friendship is protected above all else. And here's what makes this so revolutionary: even her romantic partners befriend these men. They see the purity of the bond. They recognize that these friendships don't threaten the romantic relationship, they strengthen it. Because when you have diverse supports, when you have people who see different sides of you and love you for all of them, you show up fuller, more whole, more yourself. This is the model we need. This is what happens when we stop letting society's imagination limit our reality. For those of us in our soft girl era, This is revolutionary because softness isn't about shrinking your circle or performing a certain type of femininity. It's about expanding into authenticity. It's about saying, these are my people and I don't owe you an explanation. It's about protecting your peace by surrounding yourself with souls who see you, support you, and stand with you, regardless of gender. CherRenae named her daughter Alexis, and when people asked why, she said, after Lex Luthor, because I wanted, when someone came into the office looking for Lexington Blake's, a Black woman, they would understand completely. That's the energy we're talking about. That's the refusal to shrink, to explain, to apologize for taking up space, and defining connection on your own terms. That's the power of knowing exactly who you are and refusing to let anyone else write your story. CherRenae teaches us three critical lessons that we need to carry forward. First, platonic opposite sex friendships are possible and powerful when boundaries are clear and mutual respect is non negotiable. These bonds provide unwavering support through trauma, losses, and life's chaos. They're the friends who pick up the phone after years and it's like no time has passed. They're the ones who see you, not as a woman to pursue, but as a human to honor. They're the ones who show up when the world tries to break you and remind you that you're not alone. Second, reject judgment based on gender. Your sexual organs don't define your connections. Loyalty, shared history, and standing firm against doubters, that's what matters. Just like we fight racism by demanding equal treatment, platonic friendships deserve the same defense, free from assumptions of romance. When someone questions your bond, hit them with facts. Your history of having each other's backs trumps their stranger opinions every single time. You don't owe anyone an explanation for the people you choose to love platonically. Third, build diverse friendships early to thrive as a leader. CherRenae's tomboy roots, her rough play, her guy friends, they honed resilience and authenticity that Black professionals can harness for unfiltered strength in business and life. This isn't about rejecting feminine friendships. It's about refusing to limit yourself to one type of connection. Audit your circle today. Seek platonic allies who match your grit, not gender stereotypes. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, support you, and see you for who you really are. Now, let's talk about what happens when more of us adopt this perspective. Black professionals and businesses would shatter isolation. Diverse platonic networks across genders would deliver emotional safety nets, stereotype smashing insights, and health boosts from reduced stress. The research proves it. Leaders like CherRenae prove it. No more sidelining allies over assumptions. Teams thrive with raw loyalty through trauma, picking up after years apart like warriors unbroken. Organizations that reject romance defaults build inclusive cultures where talent bonds purely on grit, not genitals. Stronger, fiercer empires rise. Imagine workplaces where your closest collaborator could be anyone, where trust isn't limited by gender, where the best idea wins because people feel safe enough to share it. Imagine communities where Black women have diverse supports that see them fully, that don't reduce them to stereotypes, that celebrate their complexity. This isn't just about individual friendships. This is about cultural transformation. This is about rejecting the boxes society built and creating new models of connection that serve us better. So here's what I need you to hear. Here's the truth that needs to settle into your bones. You have been lied to. You have been told that your connections must fit into neat little boxes, that men and women can't be close without romance, that your loyalty must be explained and justified and defended to strangers who know nothing about your history. You have been told that softness means conforming to someone else's idea of femininity, that strength means isolation, that choosing yourself is selfish. All of it is a lie. CherRenae Blake's is living proof that your sexual organs don't define your connections. That platonic opposite sex friendships aren't just possible, they're powerful. That boundaries, loyalty, and shared history create bonds that withstand decades, trauma, and every doubter who said it couldn't be done. She's proof that you can be soft and strong, that you can demand respect without apology, that you can build a circle that reflects your values, not society's expectations. So here's your call to action. Here's what I need you to do right now. Go audit your circle. Look at the people standing closest to you. Are they there because you chose them or because someone else told you they should be? Are they feeding your soul or draining it? Are they supporting your soft girl era or pulling you back into survival mode? Seek platonic allies who match your grit. Build connections based on character, not chromosomes. Set boundaries early and defend them fiercely. And the next time someone questions your platonic opposite sex friendship, don't shrink, don't explain, hit them with your truth. Your history of having each other's backs trumps their opinions. Your loyalty is not up for debate. Protect those bonds like the rare gems they are. Because in your soft girl era, you're not just learning to rest, you're learning to be soft in a world that taught you survival. You're releasing the cape that says you have to justify your connections. You're redefining strength as the courage to build diverse, authentic relationships that feed your soul. You're embracing softness as the radical act of choosing yourself, your peace, and your people without apology. This is your permission slip. This is your invitation. This is your revolution. Stop letting anyone would define your connections for you. Stop shrinking to make others comfortable. Stop explaining your loyalty to people who haven't earned the right to question it. Your soft girl era is about reclaiming joy, rest, and freedom. And that includes the freedom to love platonically, fiercely, and authentically across every line society tried to draw. So go build your empire on loyalty, not labels. Go choose your people based on their character, not their gender. Go stand die hard on your truth and watch your power multiply. Because you deserve connections that see you, that honor you, that stand with you through everything, and you don't owe anyone an explanation for claiming that. Not now, not ever.